Hey everyone, so here we are 25 years later. 25 years have passed. Georgia's murder is still unsolved, and so many flaws in the systems that played a part not only in her murder, but also in the lack of an arrest up until this point. When I thought about what I wanted to talk about today, there's a lot of different topics, a lot of different things, and I don't want to be here for the next 3-4 hours, but I do want to hit on some things that I feel are important and that I want to be discussed as we sit here another year, hoping, praying, and fighting for justice. Georgia was truly a selfless person. She was beyond caring and beyond loving. And I feel like those qualities are what we're lacking as a society. We're lacking selfless people. We're lacking caring people, or we're lacking loving people. And ultimately, we see that reflected in the chaos that we experience every day, and also within our laws. It seems like every day there's a case where either Child Protective Services has failed another family, another child, or the justice system has failed, either in investigating these cases, giving families the support that they need, and also accountability. And this is more so than just accountability within the departments, which definitely has a lot of room for improvement, but also with these perpetrators. We see a lot of cases where there's people who have committed heinous crimes, and unfortunately they're placed back into society in a short amount of time. And that's a problem. It's a problem that, we have children, we ourselves are living amongst other people, and we never know at any point in time when we may be met with someone that wants to cause us harm, that has had a track record of doing these crimes. So when I sit here and I talk about 25 years later, it's a difficult place to sit, because I have to reflect back 25 years. And 25 years ago, I was 7. I was a kid, spending time with her big sister, and never in a million years did I have an inkling that 25 years later, I would be here praying for justice, fighting for justice, praying that these laws would be changed, that they would better suit the people, that I would be reading the news or watching the news and seeing case after case after case of the lack of love that is in this world, and not seeing any real progression to bring the love back. So I'm going to be talking about some stuff, and the focus is Georgia, but it's Georgia as far as her legacy, because I can't sit here and not think about how Georgia would be if she were still alive today. How she wouldn't be, upset by the injustices. How she wouldn't be pushing for people to be better, to be more loving, to be more caring, to do what's right, no matter who thinks it's popular or not. And so to mark 25 years, that's what we're doing. We are pushing for a better us, a better, more loving, more caring, more selfless us that will ultimately make the world we live in a better place. At just 12 years of age, Georgia impacted so many lives around her, and it's unbelievable to think about the burden she carried, and she did it so effortlessly. And here I am, an adult, and I look around and I see burdens that are supposed to be carried by certain people and certain entities, and they're not carrying them. And we can talk about the flawed systems, the flawed police department, the flawed child protective services, the flawed school systems, the flawed all these organizations. But at the root of these organizations are people. Flawed systems are flawed because of flawed people. And if we don't ever address those flaws and how we're going to improve those flaws, then we're going to have more Georgias. We're going to have more casualties. We're going to have more tears, more trauma, more pain, more years that pass with no answers and no solution. So let's talk about people. I really wish I could say I look around and I see love. That's not the case. The Show Love for Georgia campaign, there's specific things within it. You know, show love to her case, show love to other unsolved cases, show love to the police department, because at the end of the day, we need the police to step up and do their job. And if we can say something positive and as a community stand in a positive manner, then hopefully one day it'll make that shift in their minds, and it'll resonate with them, where they'll look up and be like, man, this could have been my family. Like, that family is hurting because I'm not doing my job. That family is hurting because there's somebody on the street who took their loved one away and no accountability has been done. And all of these families, all of these unsolved cases, a lot of them do not get the attention that they need. A lot of them do not get the community outpouring of love and support that they need. And so if we can just take a little bit of time out of our days to support the next person, it will mean the world of difference to them. And I know firsthand because I'm living it. And so when we talk about people in love, it really should be a standard. It should be a standard to see someone and want to do something to make them feel better. Not going out of your way to be someone you're not, but to showcase what you would want seen done to you. You know, unfortunately, there's so many cases where people have been brutally murdered. They've been missing for decades, and they've had these cases that they've had to investigate themselves. There's been known errors, known overlooks of what should have been done, what shouldn't have been done, and that standard is not there. If in each of these cases, the person responsible chose love instead of any other word put in there, we wouldn't have tears for that situation. If on August 13th, 1997, someone was showing love to Georgia opposed to whatever else, she would still be here. She wouldn't have been murdered. She wouldn't have been thrown on the side of the road. Her case would not be unsolved. So when I talk about love, it's really the solution to, I want to say all of our problems, but I'm not going to say all of the problems because there's so many factors that come with that. But love has the ability to fix so many of our issues There's so many kids in these foster care systems that are the responsibility of the state because situations happen. And instead of these systems being accountable and having checks and balances in place to ensure that these children are well cared for, they're just left to survive. And despite the amount of cases that we see that have not been handled properly, we're still encountering these errors, these lacks. And you can't tell me that we have all these multi-billion-dollar companies, these corporations, these industries, and they adjust how they do things for the sake of improving their companies. And guess what? It works. The United States is at the top of world power because whatever system is in place works. So why is it when it comes to these police departments, these welfare systems, these school systems, these political structures, all of our laws, why is it that we see firsthand that it's not working, and yet there's not real change happening? Why does it take so long to create a new law? Why does it take so long to change a flawed law? Why does it take so much outcry and outpouring of pain to get the movement that we need to bring a proper solution to a lot of these problems that leave families like myself and so many others still waiting for justice? Why? It doesn't make sense. And I can sit here all day and talk about the things that I think need to happen and how we need to rally together and actually, take a look in the mirror and ask ourselves, what do we want and what are we worth fighting for? And how long are we willing to fight to get those things? I can sit here and talk all day about that. But at the end of the day, it has to be more than just talking about it. Like, we have to actually rally together in a positive manner, because we don't need any more collateral damage. We don't need any more innocent bystanders. We need unity. We need love. We need all those positive things that make the world we live in worth living in. And it saddens me to know that the reason why I sit here and the reason why I'm pushing so much for love is because my sister wasn't afforded that same love. When the state knew our family was in a situation that needed help time and time again, someone didn't love us as children or my mother as a mom or us as people enough to say, you know what, let's step in and do what's right. When she dropped out of school, no one cared enough about her to say, that's not right, let's go check in on that. When they knew a sex offender was living with us, nobody did anything. When there was red flags about her being sex trafficked, all these things, including her case and how it was handled, how it was mishandled, all of these things are the results of the lack of love. Because when you love someone in any capacity, there's sacrifices that are made and there's things that you do that are right. And when you don't do those things, you're not operating in love. So I'm here and I'm passionately hoping that as we reflect on 25 years of a unfortunate situation that can never ever be turned around. Like, Georgia's never coming back. The errors that were done could never be undone. The trauma that has been done will forever be there. But what I can do today is choose to take all those negatives and put it in a ball, wrap it around some love and hope that I can create something and inspire someone to make those changes that can think about, is this going to make the world a better place? Is this going to help those families? Is this going to stop children from being statistics? And unfortunately, those type of changes don't happen overnight. Unfortunately, there's going to be people that choose to not love, choose to hate, choose to sow discord, choose to let their badges be above, the law, that choose to work jobs that they don't want to be in and have too many cases where they would rather just check the block and put the file to the bottom than to take the next step to find out what's wrong and how to bring about a solution. Those people exist. But if we can minimize the amount of those people and have more people that care than that don't care, and more people in these positions of office that are pushing for real change and not political change, where it's like it's there as a law, but nobody's really holding a standard. It's there as a reminder, but no one's really caring about it, because at the end of the day, people can do whatever they want to do and there's no accountability. If we can set the standard of what right looks like as it relates to people and work so diligently to maintain that standard, I wholeheartedly believe that as a community, as a nation, as a world, we can see some real positive change. Yeah, so I know I said a lot. Like I said, I can talk about these topics all day because they're near and dear to my heart. And unfortunately, we live in a time where, despite the advancements as a society, people are living savagely. Like, there is no love across the board. I'm sorry if y'all can hear that motorcycle. But, kids are killing kids. Moms are killing their children. Dads are killing the children. Boyfriends are killing girlfriends. Like, it's so much. It's so much. And at some point, as a society, people that are filling these positions of power, that are making these laws, at some point, we have to say, like, what are we doing wrong? And what are we not doing right? There should be no reason why so many cases are what they are, especially when there's been red flags. Not a yesterday red flag, but red flags for weeks, for months, for years, and nothing was done. The outcry was overlooked until it was too late. Too late. When it's too late, it's too late. When the clock strikes midnight, the day is over. It's a new day. You cannot go back to yesterday. You cannot go back to last year. You cannot go back to any point in time up until where you're at right now. And we can't afford to allow our children, our moms, our dads, our sisters, our brothers, our friends, we can't allow people to be casualties of it's too late. We can't. We have too many resources at our disposal. We have too many people that know better. We have too many people who care. We have too many advancements in our technology to not be able to have better safeguards and better control over ensuring that the life that we're living collectively is as much safe as possible, that as much care and attention is given to these areas that need to be improved upon. We need to do better. All of us. If we see something, we need to say something. There's so many cases where people are silent on things that they know is wrong. They're silent on things that they've experienced that could bring answers to what happened. They have information. These political figures that are in office, that are abusing their power, that are abusing the laws, and people don't want to say anything, you need to step up. Like, we don't need any more victims. We don't need any more sexual assault victims, sexually abused victims, murder victims, domestic violence victims, missing victims. We don't need any more victims. And when people choose to sit by I swear, like, I've made so many videos in the past 2-3 years, and this has never happened. So I'm just gonna act like I don't hear it. But we don't need any more victims as the United States. And I don't want to just make it the United States, because I know there's a lot of cases that happen in other countries, in other parts of the world, that need just as much change due to the nature of those cases. So I don't want to just make it focused on the United but because I do live in the US, that is the priority. But we have the power to implement the changes that are necessary, and to hold those changes to a standard, to hold how we operate as people to a standard. If we can come together on racial issues as a world and reshape standards, why can't we do that as a nation? Why can't we do that as a state? Why can't we do that as a city? Why can't we find out what needs to be prioritized and hold those things to a priority? We know that the CPS is flawed. We've seen countless cases where children have died as a result of them not doing what was necessary. We've seen people with mental health issues that haven't been given the necessary treatment and care and oversight. We see these things, and what's done about it? We see these departments that don't properly investigate these cases, that don't give the resources where they need to go. And what are we doing about it? And I'm not saying this to say that there is not any good. Like, I believe there's more good than bad. But when the bad has so many repercussions that affect so many people, it tarnishes the good. So while this case is solved, a solved case is a feeling that none of us will ever truly understand if you don't experience it. But guess what? If a family has to spend their days searching for their loved one by themselves, hounding the departments to make their case matter, not being followed up on with emails and all these other things, if they're not doing their job and it's affecting the well-being of other people, if it's affecting the lives of other people, that damage is way more catastrophic than the good that's being done. And I believe the good that's being done in our world needs to be acknowledged. It needs to be praised. But right now, we need to focus on the negatives and how we can make those negatives things that we can praise in the future by turning them into positives. So I didn't want to go past 25 minutes. And I know I said a lot. And hopefully, when you think of Georgia and the 12-year-old girl that she was, you think of love. You think of being better, being positive, being someone that makes people's lives better. And that little thought will inspire you to be better. It will inspire others to be better. It'll inspire all of us to be better. If we're not working towards better, what are we working towards? You know? So it's been 25 years. I wholeheartedly believe that justice is coming. I believe God's going to work out a miracle. If you followed our social media, you'll see, God has been doing a lot of stuff, showcasing a lot of stuff. And 25 years. 25 years is too long. But like I said, I can't go back in time. I can't redo things. I can't make people do stuff. All I can do is say, what am I going to do going forward? Where do I choose to put my energy? Where do I choose to put my time? How do I choose to take something that will forever be traumatic to my family and impart something positive from it? And the only thing that I know is love is why I'm here. Despite all the negatives that I've been through, that my family's been through, the ability to love and choose to love is what gives us hope. So if you don't do anything else, if you don't take anything else away from the 25th anniversary of Georgia's murder, I just pray that you choose to do one act that you probably don't want to do or you didn't think about doing to make the world better, to help the person around you. Say something positive. When you want to, blow up, choose to say something nice. So, thank you for listening. I hope it all made sense. And just keep praying for my family. And when the day for justice comes, it's going to be glorious. Thank you.